Neurobiology of control, the mirror in the brain. Power is not an object, but a process that possesses you. It rewrites the biology of those who exercise it. Imagine the brain as a lens that, at the top of the hierarchy, shifts its focus to survive the pressure. It is a silent transformation that decides who remains human and who becomes an institution. Neurobiology of control, the surgery of reality. Power alters how the brain simplifies the world. In a position of accountability, the mind no longer has the luxury of processing every individual as a unique universe. The cognitive system eliminates details to maintain decisional efficiency. Concrete example: think of an emergency surgeon or a crisis manager. If they felt the trauma of every cell, they would be decisionally paralyzed. The brain performs a functional compression. The person in front of them ceases to be Andrei, father of two, and becomes function X from department Y. This is not necessarily dehumanization, but a survival mechanism for the system under pressure. However, a fascinating anomaly emerges. While many become immune to others, some develop hyperperception. Concrete example: an experienced leader who notices an invisible twitch in an opponent's lip. This is not empathy. He does not feel the other's pain, but a cold, microscopic reading. It is night vision in the social labyrinth, where compassion is replaced by the surgical precision of control. Dopamine and the event horizon. Beyond structure, power activates reward circuits. The brain seeks the sense of causality, the certainty that its will produces immediate effects. Concrete example: the euphoria of a trader moving markets with a click creates an addiction to control. Over time, unpredictability is no longer part of life, but a malfunction of one's own system. Power promises immortality, but consumes the humanity of the present. Micropower, the geometry of vulnerability. Power does not need lavish offices. It dwells in the space between two people, expressing itself through the fine-tuning of affective distance. Concrete example: in a relationship where one is the one who waits, the person who decides the pace of closeness exercises micropower. It is the asymmetry of access. I know everything about your weaknesses, but you have no access to mine. But look at the subtle inversion. Sometimes the one imposing distance is merely defending themselves. Concrete example: an employee who communicates only through cold procedures mirrors a system that has already suffocated them. It is reactive power, a last stand for dignity in a space that denied them belonging. The recursive limit, the loop in which we lose ourselves. Models of control can become so perfect that they devour themselves, excluding life. Concrete example: imagine a security algorithm that flags normalcy as suspicious, simply because it is unexpected. the explanation becomes so coherent that it can no longer accept the exception. We come to believe that what we cannot measure in an Excel spreadsheet does not exist. Is this a limit of reality or merely a limit of our mind? Resistance through complexity. If power means simplification, resistance means the refusal to become a function. True stability comes from accepting the unpredictable. Concrete example. In a system that wants you to be just a number, a useless hobby or an unprofitable emotion are acts of counterpower. It is the recovery of the noise that control wants to eliminate. Whoever remains complex in a world that wants them simplified holds true freedom. Conclusion. The first instability. We create order for safety, but order often becomes a source of terror. Concrete example. We build the perfect bureaucracy to eliminate corruption, yet the system ends up blocking the very life it was meant to protect. We have transformed a small fragility into a higher order instability. Power does not save us from fear. It is fear converted into the desire to stop time. Does it appear to stabilize the world, or does the world use it to generate its own controllable instabilities? The answer changes as you try to voice it, because power is a life form that refuses to be caught under the lens. Power is the great conversion of vulnerability into biological armor. Control is our attempt to dictate the rhythm of entropy. Yet, the more rigid the system, the louder life pulses outside of it, through anomalies no equation can anticipate. We are the architects of an order that devours us, prisoners of a coherence that kills the exception. In the end, true strength belongs to those who accept fragility as freedom, not as a defect.